All right, guys. We are live. Let me adjust this camera a second here. Okay. Welcome to episode 8 of the WMMA Scene Report. As always, we're going to go over some fight results from the last weekend, some news, some fight announcements, and we'll preview the upcoming weekend's fights. And then we're going to talk about our discussion topic is mostly going to be about cutting weight and just how many fighters are missing weight lately. There was, I think, 6 this past weekend. It's not good, guys. And these fighters are just hurting themselves more than anything. I don't think they even realize it until it's too late. But so first we're going to go over some the fight results from this past weekend. So TFC 19, 115 pounds in South Korea. Yadam Saw defeated Jeon Saw by first round rear naked choke, 4 minutes 29 seconds. Yadam Saw climbed to 3-2. Jeon Saw fell to 6-3. I haven't gotten a chance to watch the whole fight yet. My connection was pretty lousy that morning, and they've only posted highlights so far. But it looks like Yadam Saw really just overpowered the younger Saw girl in the wrestling department. So moving along, one Friday morning, also one championship in the 115-pound weight class. Dwi Ani Retno Wulan from Indonesia defeated Putri Padmi, also from Indonesia. Wulan climbed to 1-0, and Padmi fell to 0-1. Both of them making their debut fight. Wulan won by unanimous decision. And then higher up in the card, Priscilla Hertati Lambengal of Indonesia, defeated Angeli Sabanal of the Philippines by unanimous decision, also at 115 pounds. Lambengal climbed to 5-3. Sabanal fell to 1-1. Haven't had a chance to watch either of those fights yet. Got a lot to catch up on. Let's see. Is it also Friday? Yes, I believe so. Also Friday, LFA 54, flyweight championship. Sabina Mazo defeated Carol Yarawaki by unanimous decision, 5 rounds. Mazo climbed to 6-0. Yarawaki fell to 7-3. I don't have access. I don't have access to Axis. No way to watch LFA. So if anyone can let me know how that fight went, please do. Then, of course, Invicta FC 32 Friday night. Did our big live stream for that. Thank you to everyone who watched it, even if you only stayed for a little bit. I'm going to consider it a good success, and I think hopefully we'll build on that for the next time I do a live fight companion. So we'll start at the bottom, work our way up. Chelsea Chandler defeated Mitzi Mary by unanimous decision in the 135-pound class. Catherine Paparaki made her successful Invicta FC debut by defeating Isis Verbeek by unanimous decision at 115 pounds. Paparaki climbed to 2-0. Verbeek fell to 0-1. That was her professional debut. At 125 pounds, Stephanie Geltmacher defeated Liz Tracy by unanimous decision. Geltmacher improves to 4-0. Liz Tracy fell to 5-3. That was a very good nonstop, high-paced action fight. Next up, also at 125, Aaron Blanchfield defeated Kay Hansen by unanimous decision. Blanchfield improved to 3-0. Kay Hansen fell to 3-0. And then next up on the card at 135 pounds, we had, I believe, 1, 2, 3. Yep, the first finish of the night. Julie Avila defeated Alexa Connors by TKO due to a front kick and punches at 4 minutes and 43 seconds of round number 2. Julie Avila put a mauling on Connors, guys. It was very pleasing to watch. It was nasty. So moving along up to a 150-pound catchweight fight. Caitlin Young defeated Sarah Patterson by TKO, leg kick followed up by punches. Caitlin Young improved to 9-9, broke even now. Sarah Patterson fell to an even record of 5-5. Young just landed that leg kick. It seemed to hurt Patterson pretty bad. Young decided to just pounce and finish with punches. Patterson had no choice but to, ball up and let the ref stop it. Very fast fight. Actually, I think that was the fastest. Yeah, that was the fastest fight of the night. All right. Okay, moving down to 105 pounds. Ashley Cummins defeated Jessica Del Boni by unanimous decision. Cummins improved to 7-4. Del Boni suffered her first loss as a professional, fell to 7-1. That was a pretty good fight as well. Pretty back and forth, I thought. Next up at 115 pounds, Mizuki Inoue defeated Viviane Pereira by unanimous decision. Another decision, guys, unfortunately. Mizuki climbed to 13-5. Pereira fell to 13-3. Not the most exciting fight, but interesting to watch. It wasn't like a whole lot of nonstop action. It was a chess match, I'd say, but it was very interesting to watch. The way they each worked their own striking game. I thought it was closer than what the judges had it. A lot of other people agreed with the judges. So there you have it. And then finally in the main event, 145-pound featherweight championship, Felicia Spencer defeated Pam Bam Sorensen by rear naked choke at 4 minutes and 23 seconds of round 4. Another pretty good fight. I thought Sorensen was doing pretty well in that fight. She was pretty. I thought it was a little, back and forth. Each fighter had their moments. Round number 4, Spencer just really took over on the ground and did not give Sorensen a chance to escape that time. So that was Invicta FC 19. Moving along, Saturday night, Combate Americas had one fight in the atomweight division. Yahira Chocolate Romo defeated Irene Cabello Rivera by unanimous decision. Romo climbed to 5-3. Cabello fell to 8-6. I only got to watch maybe the last round of that live. Haven't watched the full replay. Some of the judges, they thought it could have gone either way. The commentary was acting as if the fight could go either way. They said it was pretty close and really was up to, they thought it was going to be up to how the judges decided it was round 1. And instead, the judges decided that, Romo had done enough to win all 3 rounds. I don't agree with that at all. When watching the last round, I thought it was Cabello's round, just based on the control. Neither of them were really offensive in that round, but Cabello definitely had the better clinch game going in the last round. So I'm going to have to watch that and do a video review on it. And then finally, moving along to UFC Fight Night 140 on Saturday night, Magny versus Ponzinibbio in Argentina. Cynthia Calvillo defeated Pauliana Botelho by rear naked choke, 4 minutes and 48 seconds, round 1 of 3. I actually fell asleep a little bit before that fight and watched it as Calvillo was getting interviewed. So I've got some more work to do. It was a long weekend, so I was pretty tired. So that's the results for this last weekend. Let's move along to, let me see, upcoming. Oh, I did forget one fight. Bellator, whatever the number is, in Tel Aviv, Israel. Olga Rubin pulled a pretty big upset by defeating the much more experienced Cindy Dandois at 145 pounds. Olga just, obviously had the superior striking, and even when it went to the ground, she was smart. She was able to stay on top, not let Cindy get control and work her game. Very impressive win for the young upstart Olga Rubin. She improved, I believe, to 5-0 with that. So congratulations, Olga Rubin. in the news this week, guys, nothing. Where was it at? I got to bring the website back up here. Bellator signed a new fighter. Taekwondo, former Olympic athlete, I believe. Valerie Lareda. She is a Taekwondo athlete. She fought in the President's Cup. Let's see, World Championship. Fought in the President's Cup in Taekwondo. And then decided she's going to go to MMA. She's sitting on 2-1 as an amateur record. According to the article, she and Sitz then moved gyms to ATT. And she says she's already learning how to better adapt her Taekwondo to MMA. So, but it's kind of shown to backfire for Bellator because, Heather Hardy lost her second fight in a big upset. And then Brooke Mayo, they had her on 2 televised fights, 2 fights in a row, and she lost both of those. That was her first and second fight. So Bellator's been making the mistakes of having these girls debut, and sometimes it turns out good. Like I want to say McFarlane, Elima Lay debuted with them. Not quite sure. But then other times, it just looks bad because you're supposed to be, you're definitely the number 2 organization in the U.S. and in a lot of people's opinions, you're de facto number 2 worldwide. You shouldn't be having professional fighters making their debut, whether they're pretty, whatever their background is, whatever. Don't have them freaking debut in your organization. Send them like LFA or sign them to a contract for you, have them fight in the regionals for a couple fights, and then bring them up. It's just better for you as a promotion. It's better because if they lose, you don't look as bad because they're not fighting in your promotion. It's better for the fighters because they get some experience under their belt before they get under the big lights on the big stage. It's just better all around. There's just no reason to have professional fighter debuting on your big stage. Now that's no knock on Valerie and Brooke Mayo, Heather Hardy, and these girls that are making their pro MMA debuts and Bellator. And UFC's done before, not for I don't think they've done it for any ladies, but they've certainly done it for, well, those are mostly like cash grabs like CM Punk and James Toney and stuff. And Bellator has had some successful debutantes, Pico lost his first fight, but Ed Ruth and some others, and Pico after that first fight did turn out good, but those guys were like in development with Bellator beforehand. So, sincerely, best of luck to Valerie Lareda. She's certainly the type of fighter that Bellator looks for in their 125-pound division, and by that I mean go look at pictures. I'm not going to get into it beyond that. She's 20 years old. She's young. She's pretty. So, good luck to her. Before we get into the discussion topics, I want to go over this weekend is coming up is UFC Fight Night 141 in Beijing. 3 ladies fights, 3 whole ladies fights, all of them featuring hometown fighters. We'll start at the bottom. Okay, 125 pounds. Yanan Wu returns. She drops down a weight class, and she's taking on Lauren Mahler, who is coming up from Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, where she won. Yanan Wu's 8-2. Lauren Mahler's 5-0. What else we got? Wu is the younger fighter. She's 22 years old, 7 months. Whereas Mahler's coming in at 27 years old. Wu is the much taller fighter by 4 inches, 5'9", to Mahler's 5 feet 5 inches. Reach I only have available for Mahler at 67 inches. Don't have it for Wu. Out of the 3 ladies that the UFC has brought in from China, Wu has been the least impressive before, and so far in the UFC, she dropped her UFC debut. I believe it was earlier this year or last year. Whereas Mahler looked pretty good in the Contender Series. I'm going to have to go with Mahler on that. Next up in the 115-pound division, Jessica Aguilar, coming in at 20-6, takes on the highly touted and well-deserved for it too, Weili Zhang at 17-1. So we have Jessica Aguilar getting up there in age, 36 years and 6 months. Weili Zhang is 29 years, 3 months. 5'3" for Aguilar, 5'4" for Zhang. Both have an identical reach of 63 inches, according to Tapology. Aguilar, I think she's on a downward spiral. I mean, she's lost. Did she get a win recently? Okay, she just got her first UFC win after suffering 2 losses in the UFC to Courtney Casey and Claudia Gadelha. She beat Jodie Escobel back in July, UFC Fight Night 133. Other than that, I think that's the extent of what the type of fighter that Aguilar is going to be able to beat. Now, Weili Zhang, on the other hand, hasn't lost since 2009. It was a while ago, 2013. She lost her debut fight. And since then, she's racked up, perfect 17-0 record. She's coming off a successful UFC debut, unanimous decision win over Danielle Taylor. Before that, she had finished her last her last 3 fights. Now, I'm picking Zhang to win this one, but Aguilar is not going to be an easy fighter to finish. So unfortunately, Zhang, I think, is going to have to settle for another decision in that. And then finally, on the ladies' end, it's 2 fights before the main event. Yan Xiaonan, in English, it's Xiaonan Yan, taking on Shiri Kondo. Xiaonan is coming in at 9-1. Now, she hasn't lost since. It's been a while. She lost her 3rd fight in September 2010 and has been on a 7-fight win streak since then. She's fought in URCC in the Philippines. She's fought in Road FC in Korea and China, and now she's made her way to the UFC. Coming off, she is now 2-0 in the UFC, having defeated Kaylin Curran and Viviane Pereira, both by unanimous decision. Shiri Kondo, on the other hand, is coming off her first loss to Poliana Batalio back at UFC Fight Night 129 in May of this year. Before that, she had a successful UFC debut against Chan Mi John back in September of last year. Xiaonan is the slightly younger fighter, 29 years, 5 months, to Kondo's 29 years, 9 months. Xiaonan has a 1-inch height advantage, 5'5" to 5'4". According to Tapology, Kondo has the longer reach at 66.5 inches to 63 inches for Xiaonan. Very winnable fight for Yan Xiaonan. I'm going to say she's going to have to keep it standing, though. Kondo has good boxing, but not good enough to keep up with Yan Xiaonan's footwork and aggression. I see if Kondo wants to win this, she's going to have to get it to the ground, guys. So that's it for UFC. Was that Fight Night 141 Blades versus Ngannou 2. That's this Saturday. like super early in the morning on Fight Pass because it's in Beijing, China. Moving along, I want to talk about fighters missing weight. It's a plague on the sport. It's especially bad in the women. I think that for the amount of women's fights that go on, they percentage wise or per capita, it seems like more women miss weight in fights than the men. Don't quote me on that directly. I can't say for sure. But just look at this past weekend. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I thought there's 6. There's 6 fights that someone missed weight by. And that's bad. 3 in Invicta alone. It's not a good look, guys. I mean, these ladies and all fighters really, they gotta learn that when you sign a contract to fight at a certain weight, it is your job to make that weight. Okay, you have a 2-part job, really, when it comes to the actual fighting part of it. First part is to make weight. Second part is to fight and win. Okay. Whether you fight and win or fight and lose, if you miss weight, you're going to come off looking bad. Now, sometimes some fighters get away with it because they win in an exciting fashion. Cynthia Calvillo might get away with it from this weekend. She might not. Time will tell. So anyway, I'm taking this time to call these fighters out and pull them to task. And when I do this, guys, I'm going to tick off some people with this. I'm not doing this to shame these fighters. This isn't about body shaming. It's not about fat shaming. It's about shame on you for not doing your job. And this isn't hate. This is tough love because I really want these fighters to do better. I want them to succeed. So I'm going to go down a list, and I brought out the shame bell. So these fighters are going to be getting shamed. So Invicta FC 32, first up, Chelsea Chandler, supposed to fight at 135 pounds. She came in at 136.6. So that's 0.6 pounds over the 1 pound weight limit allowance of 136. Chelsea Chandler, shame. Moving along, Mizuki Inoue, 116.4. She's supposed to fight at 115 pounds. You get a 1 pound weight allowance, fight at 116. She came in 0.4 pounds over the additional weight allowance. Mizuki, shame. Biggest one of the weekend and Invicta, Sarah Patterson, supposed to come in at a 150 pound catch weight. She came in at 154.5. Now, Patterson took this fight on short notice. Very short, less than a week. So we'll give her the small ring. Shame. Moving along, Combate Americas 26. Atomweight fight. Irene Cabello Rivera versus Yahira Romo. Both fighters missed weight in this fight. Okay, Irene Cabello, 106.7. That's 0.7 pounds over the 1 pound weight allowance. You're supposed to weigh 105. They give you 106 in a non-championship fight. She missed that extra pound by 0.7. Irene Rivera, shame. Yahira Romo missed weight by 2.7 pounds, okay? So if it was a championship fight, she'd have missed by 3.7. Because the additional weight allowance, she got an additional pound. So she only missed by 2.7 pounds. That's bad. Yahiro Chocolate Romo, shame. And then finally, UFC Fight Night, was it 140? Argentina, Cynthia Calvillo, supposed to fight 115 pounds. She can come in at 116. She came in at 118. Missed that by 2 freaking pounds. Now, she pulled out the period excuse. I didn't know her name was Aspen Ladd because that's Aspen Ladd's go-to excuse when she has a bad weight cut. I don't care. Okay? And what makes it even worse for Cynthia Calvillo is you just came off a drug suspension because you couldn't be bothered to put down the weed long enough to be clean for an in-competition test. And then you come back and you miss weight and you want to blame it on your period. No. Cynthia Calvillo, shame, shame, shame. Guys, I'm done with the missed weight. I want to move on. Let's talk about Rose Namajunas again. So we talked about she's coming back in spring. Don't quite know yet. So we are now on... Let me see the exact date of that was. Her last fight was April 7th. So let's see, that's May, June, July, September, October, November. November 4th? No, 7th. So that's 6 months, and tomorrow will be the 21st. That's 6 months, 2 weeks, no defense, still no date set yet. She says she's going to come back in spring. Well, set a freaking date. How hard is it to set a date? Until then, no defense yet. No date set yet. Meanwhile, freaking Jessica Andrade is over there sitting on the sidelines, waiting on a fight. She's the clear number one contender in this division, and other fighters are lining up too. And they're gonna have to. They might have to sit out or risk taking fights and risk taking a loss because Rose Namajunas is sitting out. Where you at, Rose? Let's go. Set a freaking date to defend. Missing in action. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week. It's a short show, as always. Really, all I want to talk about, especially... No, you know what? I want to go back to talk about missed weights again. All I really did was talk about, call the fighters out. But, the thing is, a lot of these fighters aren't necessarily having bad cuts. A lot of them are just piss poor at weight management, okay? They go between fights. They might take several months. They might take half a year between fights. So what do? They have a crappy diet. They eat too much. They put on too much weight. And then the weight's not coming off fast enough during the fight camp. So then the week of the fight, they got to drain it all off. Or they do it even worse. They try to put on as much weight as possible and then try to drain themselves of as much water weight as possible to have that extra weight advantage. And it just, guys, it sickens me. I'm sick of this weight cutting problem in MMA. It's too many canceled fights. Too many fighters hurting themselves, going to the hospital. Fighters that are not fighting at their optimal conditioning and ability. And at what point does it just become, what is the point of all this? If we're all cutting weight, what is the point? Are we really going to get that big of an advantage by 1 or 2 pounds? It blows my mind, guys. I mean, I wrestled in school. I hated cutting weight. I wrestled as close to my natural weight class as possible because I hated cutting weight. And plus, especially if you're a fighter in one of these lighter classes, you don't have a lot to lose, okay? Because every pound you lose is close to 1% of your body weight. If you're fighting at 105, that's like barely under 1% of your body weight each pound you lose. It's ridiculous. It's just not healthy for you at all. I mean, and it's going to have long-term damage. I had bad digestion problems for years after high school because of wrestling, because I did whatever I had to do to make weight. I did it. I ate entirely too much citrus and stuff like stool softeners, whatever it took, I did it. And it messed my digestive system up for several years after. It just messes up your body long term. So I'm imploring all the fighters out there, please, 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 cut the weight cut bullshit. Fight close to your natural weight, okay? It's not worth the long-term risks to your health. Guys, that's it. That's all I have to say. If you're watching the replay, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Michelangelo, don't think I wasn't reading your comments in the chat there. I saw them all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for commenting in the chat. Till then, guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, fastest growing women's mixed martial arts platform on YouTube. Guys, have a good night.